Welcome back to the Women in Movement podcast. We are here with Jyll Hubbard, who is a owner, instructor, and practitioner of a yoga studio in Brooklyn, New York. Jyll, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Good day, everyone. My name is Jyll Hubbard. I am the owner of Urban Asanas Yoga Studio. We're an LLC. We're the only Black-owned yoga studio in Crown Heights. We've been here for about 15 years solid. We made it through COVID. And I like to pride myself on the diversity of the studio and also the affordability of the studio.
Nice. And how long have you been practicing yoga for?
I've been practicing yoga for about 30 years.
Wow.
I'm vintage.
And how long have you been instructing?
I've been instructing for over 20 years. Yeah. That's my calling.
Yeah. And what prompted you to start a yoga studio?
Oh my goodness. Being a Black woman, honestly, always going into these spaces, into these studios that weren't diverse. I guess as it took Madonna or even Russell Simmons to let people know about yoga, and it started to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I started doing yoga. Every time I would always be the only person of color. And then after it even expanded out and my friends started going to different places, I heard of situations that they didn't feel very safe or feel very comfortable in all white yoga studios. So I was like, I think I should do something about that. And lo and behold, here goes Urban Asanas.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So it's a safe space. I wanted to make a safe space, and it doesn't care, no one cares what you do, how much money you make, what you're wearing, and be good. And and even maybe break bread, maybe go out to have a tea or have a coffee or have a drink. Relationships build here.
Yeah, I love that. When you thought of building this space, how did you decide, how did you make some of your decisions when it came to equitability or just making sure that people feel safe in your space?
I like to say I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. And again, I have this magnificent, magnificent altar in my house. And I sit in front of my altar and I meditate and I pray and I pray and I meditate. And I call upon my spirit guides and my ancestors to guide me. And that's how I came up with this space. A lot of what I do is intuitive. I just listen and I move and I hate to say this because it's such a contradiction. I never had a business plan when I opened the space. I never wanted to open a yoga studio, honestly. I just wanted to be a yoga practitioner. I just wanted to go to yoga and work through my shit. That's all. However, the universe kept saying, this is something bigger than you. This is something bigger than you. This is something bigger than you. So I sat in my shit and I got quiet. And it was ding, a light bulb went off. And I was like, I have to have a space for us. And when I say us, as much as I say for people of color, but just a space that's just safe, that people don't care what you do and what you look like. Yeah. As long as you have a good heart. That's what it is. And that's, unfortunately now kind of shoots myself in the foot with it, but that's really the important thing to me. Whether you're a millionaire or you're counting pennies, you should be able to come into a space and feel safe and be able to practice and not be fucked with.
Yeah. So especially a practice like yoga is rooted in this daily practice that, it does not come from white culture. At all. You can also speak to the history of yoga because I'm sure you know it way more than I do. But yes, it's very important for people to feel safe and afford the space so that they can form a regular practice.
Right. Well, one thing I'm going to interject is that people tend to, so this is kind of, this is also something, you can Google and catch it both ways. Some people say yoga started in India. Some people say yoga started in Africa. I can go to either one, but I just know that yoga was not founded by a white person. That word is bond. That's what it is. However, the thing about, and it's just, again, just where we are in the state of the world, yoga has become very elite.
Yeah.
Very elite. And I don't understand that. And then when you look on Netflix, then they have all of these movies or documentaries about people like even Bikram. If you've Bikram, he did yoga. Bikram can't even come into the United States. He's a pedophile, he's a racist, he's a sexist, he's misogynist. And it's crazy how many brown and black people still do Bikram and give him their money. And he's still doing teacher training. You know, there's a documentary right now on Netflix. It's called Breath of Fire. Some little white girl got up into Kundalini, took people's money. You know what I mean? It's all of these things. And to me, to get my opinion, we all have that magic. But unfortunately, people in the yoga world too take advantage of people who are trying to help themselves or trying to work on themselves. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the I mean, even what's his name? John Friend. John Friend was a big yogi back in the 90s. You know, a lot of big yoga teachers was his students. He took 401ks, the whole nine, and was his students. Like it's convoluted and twisted, you know.
Yeah. That's a lot. There's a lot in there. And unfortunately, yes, people are capitalizing on the idea of people just wanting to help themselves or doing something with their body. I see certain practices or studios being a set price because of whether it's the insurance behind it or the like just the setup. If it's something like pole or it's something where you're an apparatus. But if it's something that is a body-based practice with a simple yoga mat, there's just I don't see the need to hike up the price, especially like in certain neighborhoods, just because you know it's a hot topic there. And then it shuts out a lot of the community or the workers in the neighborhood or anybody who would like to just go there. And be with themselves and see their body and learn their body. Well, thank you for making a space that is affordable and to all people. Can you also go into some of the ways that you designed your place? What else went into that aspect of what you...
Well, I can't lie. I had an interior designer.
Ooh, nice.
Her name is Lindsay Stamps. Got to give it where credit is due. Phenomenal. So the original space was a church. And it was one open space. And so originally when we were designing it, the other side was just the yoga studio. And so this space where we're sitting was vacant for years, even as the yoga studio was opening. And then finally one day I was like, oh my God, we should take the space because the way this is designed is that it's 2 bathrooms. And so someone coming in and sharing space with me, how would they, what would go with the yoga studio? At one point, my landlord was like, we can get someone to braid hair. I don't want hair braid. It just didn't, it had to be something very specific that would kind of balance out with health and wellness. And so when we opened up and we had the 3 rooms, we designed the 3 rooms. And then the problem was that then COVID hit. And then COVID went and no one really wanted to be touched. You know what I mean? So even right now, it's still kind of putt. So right now, we have 3 rooms that we rent out to practitioners. So we have estheticians. We just hired a new massage therapist. And then 4 to 5 days out of the week, there's a business, an acupuncturist place called Body Politics. They run out, so you can get acupuncture here. And then right here behind me is a room with the infrared sauna. Nice. And so with a shower.
Wow.
So you could come and get a full meal deal. You could do yoga, you could so I wanted it to be like a shop. You come in, you can get this, you can get that, because to me, it's community.
Right.
And it's health and wellness.
Right.
It's community, even to sit down on the couch and have a cup of tea with someone. I hate to say it. Or even come in and smoke a joint. Whatever you do. But I want people, the way that it was designed is that come one, come all.
Yeah.
That's the way it was designed. And each room is a different color and each room represents a chakra. So that's kind of what it is. And the 2 bathrooms, the tile is hand painted from Morocco. And even the lamps, the lamps that are hanging in the other rooms are from 4 or 5 years ago. It was the Vanity Fair party after the Oscars. Those are from that party.
Wow.
Yeah. And then this painting here is from a local painter. in the neighborhood.
Oh, nice.
I really try to keep everything local.
Yeah.
I really try to keep everything local because it's important. It's just really important to do that.
Yeah. So speaking of local, you've been in the neighborhood for 15 years as an owner.
Yeah.
How long have you lived in the neighborhood?
So I used to be in Prospect Heights.
Okay.
So I used to live at 175 Eastern Parkway, which is the building right on the corner of the Brooklyn Museum.
Mm.
And I lived in that building even before they had the water in front of the Brooklyn Museum.
Wow.
So I've seen all the gentrification, all of it. And then I moved because I kept having babies.
Oh, okay.
That's what happens. So I had 3 children. I have 3 daughters. 20 want to be 25 in March. So I'll give her 25. 25, 22, and 19.
Nice.
And so when I moved, I needed space. So we moved and we bought a limestone, not a brownstone, a limestone.
Mm.
So we bought a limestone. And so my house is 1 block away from the studio. So
Nice.
That's why I like to keep it local.
Yeah.
Because I've seen restaurants go, bars go, people go, all of those things.
Yeah. This neighborhood has changed a lot, but we're glad that you're still here and you're still pushing. Yeah. And you've had some GoFundMe accounts going on. Yeah. So we'll link all of that in the bio.
Awesome. Yes. Please help. Please help. And it's not just it's sustainability. Mm-hmm. It's sustainability. I've been in this space, but my rent still goes up. I still need to pay my teachers. I still need new equipment. And that's what I was saying. My light bill is so expensive. I need to get an HVAC, and HVAC is expensive. So it's just sustainability. And I still have to pay the rest of the money left from the COVID bill.
Yeah, which was, I'm sure, a very tough hit.
So. Yeah. So, I own about 20,000 more, which is not, it was 70.
That's just such a hard hit after COVID and all the other stresses that came with that.
Yeah.
On top of the financial stresses. Mm-hmm. And then you're also trying to be there for people when you know that yoga is important at this time. Yeah. And you're trying to also make it affordable for them to come back. It's a lot of struggle, but I did see that you had 44 people in your New Year's yoga class, which that is just incredible to have 44 people in one yoga class. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So that's our thing every year. Since I've been doing yoga, we have a New Year's Day class, and we're a ganja-friendly studio, right? And I've always stressed, don't do resolutions. Because in my opinion, resolutions, you set yourself up for failure. Because you'll say, okay, I'm going to the gym. 5 days in, you crash and you're not. And you're like, set goals, set intentions. Mm. They're a little softer. You know what I mean? They're a little bit more attainable.
Right.
So, which means that this whole dry January shit, I don't believe either. To me, again, everything in moderation.
Yes, yes.
Everything in moderation. So, which means that being said, New Year's Day, I have an amazing DJ. His name is Act As If. His name is Aaron. Amazing. And then we do a power class, 90-minute class. And Shavasana, my student Justine, comes and serenades with a nice little flute.
That's beautiful.
And then afterwards, what we do, something different. We have a tattoo artist here.
Wow.
We have 2 tattoo artists here. And they came, and then we serve food. And in the Black tradition, I make Texas caviar, which is the black eyed peas. Black eyed peas supposed to give you good luck. So I make the Texas caviar. Some of the people who come, everybody brought something kind of like a potluck. Mm-hmm. And then we serve THCT option if you want, whatever. And then we sit around and just kind of hang out and have food. And people get to know each other, and it's great. And that's what it is. And then you can start off your new year on your own terms.
Wow, that's wonderful.
What it is. Yeah, it sells out every year. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. You can really tell that there is so much community behind this space.
Yeah.
And just even one day wouldn't be able to hold all the community that you have. Yeah. But that is it's an amazing example for the listeners to hear of just how connected you are and how many pieces you try to put into building the community that you have here.
it's just so it's just so important. It's just important. I mean, especially where we are in the world right now.
Right.
You know, even like the seasonal depression, it's cold, it gets dark at 4:30.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're not a winter person, I mean, I'm from Ohio, but like I don't mind. I mean, you give me a cute coat and some whatever, I'm good to go. But there's people who really, really suffer, you know, and I want them to come. And I tell people, even if you just come on the mat and you just lay there and fucking cry, so be it, because you know, tears are water. Water is cleansing. It's perspective.
Right. And you're with people, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone can check in on you if you want.
Well, no one checks in on me. I mean, like, you know, I say to my friend, who heals the healer? You know, very seldom to people, and I don't mean this like as a thing, like, because I'm now in therapy. My therapist was like, well, who helps you and who protects you? And I took and I sat and I thought about it, and I'm like, my ancestors, like in a different realm, like, and this is could be very far fetched, and like, but like I'm good. As much as I do, it's hard for someone to hold me. And I don't mean hold me physically. I mean hold me spiritually and hold me energetically.
Right.
And that's fine, because that's what it is. And like at my sweet age, my vintage age, I don't think it'll ever happen. Because I'm at the age that I was going to happen in my last like 20 years of my life. Like after all of these years. So, I mean, and I'm good with that. But like, I'm here to help. That's right. What I'm a helper.
Well, yoga can also hold you in spaces too, right?
Yeah, but like density, like, you know, but I do have people who call me and text me and check on me.
Yeah.
But like, as far as like who heals the healers.
Right. And that's, I mean, I think that's true for, yes, you have your own business and this is your own baby, but you're also a mother. And that's very true for a lot of mothers as well, of like who helps the mothers. And then ideally mothers come to your class, or, you know, but yeah. So this is, I think a lot of the listeners too should, you know, maybe check out some places where they can feel held, or anywhere that they can feel like energetically safe.
Well, but you know, the thing, as far as it's like a collective and it's a group and it's a community, but community begins with self. So you have to kind of take care of yourself before you can kind of step into a community. You know, I always, you know, when you point up one finger, you got three looking back at yourself. So you have to be able to kind of be with you a little bit, like, you know, and you know, I tend to tell my students, you got to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. Right. If you can't sit with yourself, how do you think somebody else is going to sit with you?
Yeah, I like that. Also, so you had spoken about you are originally from Ohio. Yes. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your journey to New York?
Sure. Yeah, sure. I've been here for 30 plus years. I came here from, where did I come here from? Well, I'm from Ohio, from Canton, Ohio. But I think I landed here by way of Mississippi, Texas, and Paris.
Oh, okay.
I was an exchange student. I went to Kent State. Mm-hmm. I transferred to Kent State, from Kent State to Jackson State in HBCU in Mississippi. I left Jackson State and went to Paris. I lived in Paris for a couple of years, Paris and London. Best time of my life. And then I left there and I went back to Mississippi. And then I went to grad school at the University of Houston. And got in a little trouble. And then I needed to get out of there quickly. And then my brother was here and he danced with Bill T. Jones and Arnie Zane.
Wow.
And then I came and stayed with him. And I've been here ever since. Like when I was here, I worked at John Delaria Hair Salon. It's a hair salon out of Boston. I was there. And then I got kind of easily let go. And then I worked at Florent. It was a French bistro on Gansevoort between Greenwich and Washington. It was before the Apple Store.
Oh, interesting.
It was the cobblestone streets. You know, it was the meatpacking district. So I would get up in the morning, you would see the blood on the streets where they would butcher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was way before all. And then I was working there. I was modeling. I was acting. And then one day, my husband walked in, this little short Jewish dude walked in. I looked at him and I was like, and he looked at me. We went and had drinks at Belmont Lounge that night. And I got married 2 weeks later. And then I've been married for 29 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And 3
Congratulations.
kids later, he's in the movie business. He's an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur.
Mm.
We have our 3 daughters. My one daughter graduated from Pitzer. My other daughter just graduated from Wesleyan. And I have another daughter who's a freshman at Northwestern in Chicago.
Nice.
In Evanston. So I'm a free bird. Not an empty nester. I'm a free bird.
I like that.
Here I am. So now I have at my age, and I'm proud of my age. I'll be 59 this year, and the world is my oyster. So I'm about to get my life back and figure out, what the hell I'm doing.
I love that. Are there any new goals that you have for yourself at this time?
Oh, yeah.
They could also be separate from yoga. They don't know. Or the business,
It's all related. No, so I have Lyme disease. And it's been in my body for about 20 years. And so last year before last, I got hip replacement in both of my hips because I couldn't walk. I was bone to bone. So a lot of the years I spent in pain, I thought, oh, it's menopause, it's this. I never would have thought that I would have needed hip replacement ever in my life. And like for 5 years, I didn't sleep. 5 years, I couldn't walk. So I was like, oh, if I lose weight, if I do the infrared sauna, if I do more yoga. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And then finally, I went to HSS. And this wonderful surgeon, Dr. Daniel Nawabi, was like, you need hip replacement. And I cried and I cried. And I was like, no, not me. I'm the yoga. Blah, 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 blah. And it was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. And so now I can't take those years back. But now I'm trying to get to my ultimate health because now at my vintage age, I'm menopause. So I'm on the other side of the spectrum. So I'm just trying to be as healthy as I can be. I started a new workout plan. Like I hadn't done yoga in a few years. Like I can teach a class, which I've done. I've been teaching, but I have to sit to teach. And I can't demonstrate because I have a limited range of motion. And even during COVID, what I was doing is I had someone who worked for me who would demonstrate the class as I taught.
Wow.
Okay. Oh, you get lemons, you make lemonade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've worked it out. So I have less years to live than I've lived. I don't want to live another 58 years. Trust me, I don't. However, I want the next however many more years I have on this earth, I want it to be years of quality.
Right.
So, like, I just started doing this thing called Tabata.
Right.
It's over here in Pacific. That's not my thing. But however, in my opinion, yoga is not sustainable. What I'm saying is that as your body and your muscle starts to change, you gotta lift some weights.
Yeah, lifting weights is good.
Like it's just what it is. It's just what it is. So I go over here and I lift weights.
Right.
So that's what I want to do for the rest. I want to be healthy for myself. Maybe learn a different foreign language. Yeah, and just keep loving people and keep getting love. That's what I do. I love my life. Like I know what love is. I know what love feels like. Very, 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 very blessed. Very blessed. Very, very appreciative of the life that I have. Like I have a partner who fucking loves me, who is a great provider, who supports me. I have 3 beautiful, beautiful, beautiful girls. You know what I mean? Who are super intelligent and very, very personable and very present and very for people and things. Like my kids are like my mini Jylls. Like, you know what I mean? So I have a business that I love. So I'm great. I'm great.
They're great goals.
I'm great. Like I just want to live my life. Just keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I travel. I do that's it.
Yeah. I love that. I think it seems like your goal is to just celebrate what you have right now and with more energy for the things that you love because of this healing journey that you have gone on.
I don't want anything. I don't need anything. I just want to continue to heal people and help people. Yeah. And that's what makes me feel whole and drink more water.
Yeah. I think that someone had asked me the other day, they said, what was your favorite part of the day? And I was like, the next 20 minutes will be my favorite part of the day. Putting it into like, my favorite part of the day is right now.
Right. In the moment.
Yeah. And I'm like, I need to savor this and keep this and use this. It's like, this is my favorite part of the day right now.
Right.
I'm going to be present right now. So yeah, I think that like, I don't know. I think that kind of relates to how you seem to be really trying to celebrate your moments right now with your people.
It's, I'm gonna give you this analogy. Like, is your glass half empty or half full? What difference does it make because you have a fucking glass?
Right.
It's perspective. Even like right now, it's cold as witch's tits outside. However, when you think about it, next week will be the middle of January. February is the shortest month of the year. That's putting us in about 6 weeks, and then we're in March. Yeah. Then what's after March? April, then the spring.
Mm-hmm.
It's perspective.
Yeah.
We've gone through. We're almost out of this.
Yeah, the colds. Yeah.
The cold.
Yeah, I think I try to look at winter as a time. A lot of people are like, "Oh, it's so dark," and I was like, really try to appreciate the time to try to rest or just think about the year. A lot of people, they make these reels on Instagram of their past year and it's in like a 1 minute like flash. And I'm just like, have you even sat with your year yet? Like the January is, for me, it's more of a time to sit with the past year and reflect or journal. And then the springtime is the time to like really bounce forward. I think we do need to appreciate like what we've already been through and how we've been transformed so that we can keep moving in the direction that we want to go in or change directions.
I agree. Plot twist.
Love
a good plot twist.
But again, everyone nowadays, it's like if someone posts some type of reel, they're like, I have to do the same and have this flash of like all these moments, and our brain is just like processing all these moments in 1 minute. And you're like, it's just hard.
Well, it's funny. A good friend of mine, he does hair to the starters or whatever. And one thing he told me, he said, you know what fucked up the world? He told me it's like 15 years ago. I was like, what? He said selfies.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because everyone can pretend and act like there's something that they're not. You could put a filter on whatever, or even, I was watching, way back, and I don't even want to talk about this, but I have to bring it up because it's a thing. Like, even around the election. And, like, ever since Obama was the president, I was addicted. It was like an addiction to the news. Like, I was so addicted. MSNBC would be on or CNN on the regular. Okay. I was invested in the news. And as soon as the election hit and she lost, it was like a gut punch. And I was like, cold turkey. So since, when was the election? November 5th, November 6th? That hasn't been on MSNBC hasn't been on my TV. Like, I haven't even turned my TV on. So which means that now I've gone from the skillet to the hot pan, or the hot pan to the skillet, because now I watch these really like stupid ass reality shows, and they're not even on my TV, they're on my iPad. Like, just something, it's like white noise. It's just, when I should probably have on classical music or something. But I've been watching a lot of like these Bravo shows. And it's how everyone has their faces done. Like, from the lips to the cheekbones, even to the white girls getting the hair in. And the BBLs is a whole nother thing. But like, everyone is getting their face done and getting their boobs done and getting their butts done and getting a liposuction and getting this. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like, you can't, I don't know. Like, it's so, no one wants to be who they are.
Yeah, and it goes back into like what you were saying of, if you want to be in community, you have to sit with yourself, right? And if you're unable to sit with yourself, if you're acting, you're putting on a face, you're putting on a filter, you're putting on a new surgery, right? For just the looks, right? There are people who go under plastic surgery for a necessity or other surgeries. But yes, if it's just for the appearance or the looks, it's like, are you really taking that time to sit with yourself and be your truest self? And yeah, I have an issue with, I have a hard time with a lot of the surgeries that are going on nowadays because I feel like it's changing and very much limiting people's facial expressions, which is like a huge thing for communication. It's also a huge thing like to feel your own smile. I think that that's important. I think
their face is stiff.
Yes, it's stiff. And I think that I've worked with individuals who are stroke survivors, and even having them learn to laugh again, learn to smile again. You see this, like there's a depression when you can't do the thing, when you can't laugh, when you can't smile. And then the effort to really try to smile is there. And it's like, it's powerful. And I don't think people are studying it enough, or there's not enough research because this is all kind of newer, that we don't really know what's going to happen long term with these facial expressions not being important. They're very important. Yeah.
That's going back to even the AI.
Right.
And that's the thing that's kind of funny too, like, because I'm going to circle it back to even yoga. Like, all these people, and it's going back to COVID, like, I don't understand people getting certified over Zoom. Like, if your hand hasn't touched the body to be able to adjust, how the hell are you teaching yoga? I get it. But like, I mean, I'll have people who've never stepped a foot in my space and send me like, hi, I'm looking to teach. I got 200 hours and I took it. And I'm like, dude, seriously? I just think we as a world, as humans, we've just lost into reality. Like, it's just so convoluted. Like, I want to know my neighbors. I want to, you know what I mean? Like, I want to go into a store and touch something and feel it. I don't want to just shop on Amazon.
Right.
Like, I want to be able to, it like this whole world has just given people, it's conditioned people to just be in a hole by themselves.
Right.
I can order and I don't gotta talk to anyone.
Yeah.
But it's like, come out, sit outside, get some sun,
Yeah.
sit on Eastern Parkway, look at your neighbor, open the door, say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
We don't have to be the best of friends, but we can break bread, or maybe not even break bread, but just, I see you, you see me. We can be different.
Right.
But I see you and you see me. Maybe our worlds will come together. Maybe our worlds will stay separate, but our worlds don't need to collide. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it can stay positive. So it's, and as much as I say that, as much as I'm an extrovert, I'm an introvert. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we can all be introverts at different points. Like, when you're trying to restore your energy, reflect on the class or the day. But I do think that it's important to really, again, get outside, see your neighbors. All those things that seem simple are very important because the community is made up of neighbors. And New York City itself was like, it grew on individuals sitting on stoops and chatting with each other and watching out for each other. To the point where kids used to have a little more freedom to roam on their own because they knew they were being watched by their neighbors. They knew they were kind of being safeguarded by the people in their community. But nowadays, it's like parents are tied to their phone because their kids' Apple Watch is also on their phone. And then their teachers also have access to their phone. So everyone feels tied to these devices all the time, which I think is why also individuals really like going to something like yoga class or a pole class or a fitness class, because for that hour, you get to be like, for the most part, you get to be like, the phone is off or to the side.
But they break it.
Right.
That the phone can't come in the yoga studio. No, this is an emergency. I just want people to unplug.
Right.
Unplug for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Whatever you need to do will be there waiting for you after. It's funny that you, just like you, for example, prime example, you need to charge your phone. You can come in, he's like, I can't charge my phone. You see how quick you were to charge your phone?
Right.
How quick are you to recharge yourself?
Right.
It's that same energy for yourself. When you feel depleted, when your battery is about to go out, when you're like, okay, fade to black, I'm about done. Do you take a second and go, okay, I got to plug back into me?
Yeah.
So if we could use that same energy, as quick as it is to plug in your phone, can we take that wire and plug it into ourselves?
Yeah. And I think that also, it can happen. It's a possibility, but I think it takes an awareness of what are your quick charges. So like I have a practice of things that I like to do when I'm trying to reset and get into my body, right? And I don't think that everyone has that quick reset or those quick or even quick or long. Like it could be like a 10-minute process. It could be an hour, but yeah, it would be nice if everyone in the world was not only like asked to go to school, but also asked to like learn how to get into your body, right?
How do you reset?
I like to do some rubbing patterns, some patting, shaking, bouncing, swinging, and then I do some getting to the ground and getting back up. That's usually like some of my reset.
Okay.
Yeah. Or even just overhead, just hanging. Yeah.
Okay.
Or do you have any good options?
Well, what for me, I do a gratitude list every morning. I write 3 things that I'm grateful for. And I also have 2 meditations I do. I do one, a 15-minute sit, and then I do transcendental meditation, which is 20 minutes. And whatever comes up to me that day, when whatever the mantra is I have for the day, if I have a moment that I feel the uncertainty and I'm not grounded, I come back to that mantra. And every day, probably not so much on Saturday and Sundays, I do some type of class of movement. Like I do something today because I've done Tabata 3 times this week. Today I'm as if my day of rest because my back hurts. But like I can sit and breathe. Pranayama. Breathing is my saving grace all the time.
Nice. Yeah, breath is always there. It's always there for you.
And that's the thing. You don't, going back to what we were talking about the prices in yoga, you don't need to have all the things. You don't have to have the accoutrements to do for wellness. You have a body. That's your tool.
Yeah.
And we can make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. We also didn't get into this, but what was your initial start into yoga as
well, it was really easy, really simple. My brother, when he danced with Bill T. Jones, he would go to the yoga studio. No, it was his gym. It was the David Barton gym on Broadway. Okay. And it was on Broadway, like down by Urban Outfitters. And he took me to a yoga class. I had never done yoga in my life. I walked, put my big old foot on that yoga mat, and I was like, oh my God, I found my home. The teacher was this beautiful Brazilian woman. Her name was Leisha. And the second I did my first little movement, it was home. And I've been hooked since day one.
I like that.
They had me at Hello Namaste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Another love at first sight.
Yeah, it was
love at first try.
Yeah, it was magical. It was magical, really. Magical.
Yeah. I like that. And then from there you became an instructor at some point.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I had been doing yoga just for a long time. Like I was really into my body. At the time I was trying to be an actress. And just and it was way before my kids. And I was really skinny and just floating around. And I remember I would be out at the clubs, at the garage until 5 a.m. I would get up and do an 8 a.m. yoga class.
Wow.
Hung over the whole 9. Like, it was great. I went to a studio called Atmananda, and the owner was John T. And John T was doing one of his first teacher trainings. And he was like, why don't you? And I was like, okay. But even when I got certified, it wasn't to be a teacher. It was just to clean up my practice. Right. So it would be more detailed. And I was like, okay. And then even being certified, I didn't want to be a teacher. And then he gave me an opportunity. And then I moved to Brooklyn. And then a woman was opening a studio in Prospect Heights. And I was one of her original teachers there over that way. And that's when kind of like, oh, shit hit the fan. And I was like, something in this space doesn't feel good. Something. And I was there for about 10 years. And it was like, I'm an acquired taste. I'm not for everyone. No, and I know that. Like, everyone is not for everyone. But I know specifically, I can really, I don't want to say trigger because that's the word that's thrown away. But I can definitely make people feel uncomfortable. And it's not me, it's my energy. And it's nothing like I can't dim my light to make your light shine brighter. And I'm aware of that. And I can read the room, but it was certain people who I worked with, it wasn't meshing. And again, unbeknownst to me, there was a space that was open around here, and someone came to me. It was like, you should open a yoga studio. And I was like, not so much. I don't want to do that. And that's how it kind of happened. Like, it just, that's what I'm saying. When you sit quiet and you can sit with it, answers will come to you.
Right.
For sure. I promise on that. And I don't make promises. And it kind of came to me even like now at my vintage age, like, I don't want to keep doing this how I'm doing this. So I have a 5-year plan. So I'm thinking of bigger things to come forward, and like, what do I want to do? And like, I want to keep the space, but like, I want to find stronger teachers and have people here so I can go and share my magic in other places in the world, you know?
Yeah. So that's something I did want to speak about with you as well too. I saw that you had a retreat and you did some travels. So can you talk about some of the travels that you've done?
I've had a retreat in Jamaica. That was right after COVID. That was crazy. And then we did one in Puerto Rico.
Nice.
And then we just did one in Ghana in August. But we will be going back to Ghana in August for that Urban Asanas ones. And then someone just hired me, and I'll be teaching yoga at a retreat center in Cape Verde.
Gosh. Wow.
And then at the end of the month, I go as a student to go to my girlfriend's retreat in Mexico.
Wow. That's so many. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, I'm still a student. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I don't have all the answers. I don't. And like, you have to keep taking classes. You have to keep, you have to still keep putting yourself out there. Like, I'm going to always be a student.
Right. And that's how I think most of the instructors I enjoy are the ones that are always a student as well.
Yeah. I mean, however, it's a bit of a contradiction. Like, however, I don't really like to go to classes with new teachers, though, to be honest.
New yoga teachers?
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair.
Like, but I have to be, like, for me, I need you to have a little bit of tracks on your ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, not that your daddy has put you through, you know what I mean? Like, your dad paid for this. Like, I need you to struggle. I need you to sweat a little bit. You know what I mean? Like that, like these girls who can like, oh, my parents are going to pay her. Like, no, like, tell me some stories.
Right.
Like, live a little bit. That's the thing. So, I mean, but it's funny. One of my teachers told me, he said, when you go into a yoga class, you have to go open because everybody has something to teach you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of, you know what I mean? So I'm working on that, but still, I know my body at my age, and I know what I need.
Yes. I feel like as an instructor, it can be hard sometimes going into a class and not judging it.
Yeah.
So I feel like going into a class and not judging it, because it's like there's so many things that you're analyzing in your head on how you want to do things. But at the same point, I've in the past 2 years, I've been very much a student in pole, which is the first time I've been a student for a very long time. And it's been very refreshing to just kind of hand someone what my tasks would be, and then like just getting the assignments, and it's also, I have had the mindset of, let me walk away from this class with one thing to practice. And that's an at least, because a lot of the teachers I've been blessed with, they've been doing, so pole is, I think, another practice that can be similar to yoga, to where like you have to have a certain amount of like time put in before you receive a job or a certification. I know yoga is like 500 hours at least.
200, 300.
Oh, okay. I thought it used to be like 500.
Well, okay. So Yoga Alliance. So it started with 200, and then it's like, you can go and take a 500. But the thing that's funny is that I think this kind of sucky is that, like, I haven't taken 500 just in that little nook, but I've taken hours of classes and teacher training that's way over $500.
Right.
Way over.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, and in pole, a lot of the instructors have been taking it for years before they become an instructor. So there is a wealth of knowledge behind that. And there's so many different areas of going into to pull deeper. Same thing with yoga, right? Like you have different ways you can dive deeper, whether it's more flexibility or the hot yoga or so. It is a little bit easier to try to walk away with one or a couple more things. I've just been in New York City. There's also just a wealth of knowledge, I think, with instructors. And if you're lucky enough to find good spaces, then
Yes, like Urban Asanas.
yeah, exactly. So I just have like a couple other questions for you, if that's okay. But this is like more so about your classroom energy. How do you like to warm up a room? What are some little things that you have, those little tricks under your belt, or
So if I tell you, I got to kill you.
anything you could share would be nice.
Well, back in the day when before we are here, so I had the space 4 or 5 doors down.
Okay.
At 752 North Street. And so we grew out of that, and that's what made, that we were here. And so before I had software, people would come in and I would put their names on an index card. And that's when they would buy memberships with, it was very mom and pops. And so, which means that, and this is before I had somebody at my front desk. This was actually before I had a manager and an assistant. So I was pretty much doing it all by myself because I'm not very computer savvy. I told somebody the other day, I was raised with an 8-track tape, and it was like, what's an 8-track tape? I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me, right? So anyway, which means that as I would write people, I would know their name. Like I would get to know, and that's just one of my things. Like I like to know people's names because I want you to be seen. And I think is another thing that lacks in a lot of these yoga circles now. Get them in, get them out, get them in, get them out. We don't care how much your money, get out. And to me, I know your name, like how's your mama, how's your daddy? I mean, it's personable, and that's what it is. And I pride myself on knowing people's names. So at the beginning of the class, if you are new to me, I will ask every time I sit in the front. I sit in front of the room and look, I have a little bench that I sit on, not a bench, but a little seat that I sit on. And I introduce myself because you see me, my big black ass up there in the front of the room, but I also see you. And it's important to be seen. Like if you're one of the ones, okay, my foot, I'm getting you. I'm gonna get you. And if you want to hide, then this probably isn't your space. Like you understand, because I'm pulling everyone out. I'm pulling you out. Let's go. Let's get into this world. Let's be present. You know what I mean? Like, get out of that hole. Be seen. Let's be seen. And I want to get to know you. I don't just, again, we're going to break bread, but I want to see you. So you can feel the energy that we're exchanging. It's the give and take. That's really big to me in yoga. And also, too, I got these big ass hands, right? I like to touch. I mean, I do Reiki, but like, I like to touch. I like to adjust. And, yeah, like that's the thing. I talk. Yeah. I talk. Like, it's just really approachable. Like, I know, I mean, and also too, I don't really teach in Sanskrit. Like, I do know Sanskrit, but I don't teach because if I'm like, Adho Mukha Shavasana, they're like, well, what the fuck is that? And the people, and like, so I talk. I think, in my opinion, anybody can take my class. Because I just talked before I came and met you. It's this government place over here on the corner. And I'm teaching a chair yoga class and a mat class all at the same time.
Oh, nice.
Because I got people who can't touch the floor.
Yes.
But I got people who want to be on the floor. You know what I mean? And it's very different. And I think I know I have a gift to read the room. Right. And that's the problem. Again, you can't teach everybody that.
Yeah, that comes with experience. That comes with a lot of experience. I worked with, I was lucky enough to work with the city for 9 years. And the experience I got from teaching so many different people in the same room was just like I couldn't have asked for that knowledge anywhere else. So I'm very curious also, how do you teach chair yoga and the floor yoga at the same time? Like, what are some things that you put in there?
Chair yoga. So just say someone can't sit down. So usually I start the class in a cross-legged Sukhasana, easy seat, right? So what it is that as much as it's a hip opener, your sits bones are down. The bones underneath your bum. Your legs can be crossed, Your legs can be straight. It's all about rooting. So it's like root to rise.
Mm-hmm.
So I can have somebody sitting there with their legs crossed and the person sitting there in a chair. Both hands are on your thighs. Sit down, palms up to receive, palms down, palms up, you choose. And it's breath.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, usually, the places that I go, we have extra chairs. So just say you lift your arms up in Sukhasana in a cross-leg position. You can inhale, you're going to exhale. You can put your hands down on the floor. People in the chair, inhale, put your hands on the chair, and push the chair up.
I love
and that's
it, yeah.
also downward facing dog.
Yeah, I love it.
You know, and so we also incorporate, because usually these places that hire me to do chair, they have a budget. They get grants.
Right.
So I'm like, I need blocks.
Right.
Weights. So we have 2-pound weights.
Nice.
2 or 3 pound weights. So they're doing this, they're doing cactus, you know, and a lot of these women, it's mostly women, because I was teaching over here at Major Owens. They're senior citizens. And it's nothing like getting a Trinidadian 77-year-old woman to work out in the chair and trust me.
Right.
And trust me.
That's
and
big.
And like they come, like, you know, it's crazy. Like I like to say, it's crazy, because as much as these women, I remember when they first hired me, I walked in and they were like,
yeah,
like no love. And now we're in a little discrepancy with money over there. And it's not me, it's them. Like
right.
It's a lot, it's politics. And I don't do politics. But the women, they pray for me. Like, we're praying for you, we miss you, we pray for you. And those are the things to me that you can't teach.
No, you can't.
You know, it's crazy, because I have like 8 teachers here, 8 to 10 teachers, something like that. And my classes are sold out, and I've hired them. And I love my teachers, but it's such a challenge, because I've been teaching for so long, and I've been here, and they're like newer, like 5 years. And it's like, I remember when I first started teaching, I was sitting in the studio by myself. No one knew. But it's also going back to back then when I was certified, it wasn't social media.
Right.
You know, it was word of mouth. It was word of mouth. And now people are like, oh, well, I can't come and teach for you, not unless it's 20 people and I'm making this. That's why I think yoga's kind of being washed out, but now everyone's doing Pilates.
Yeah, Pilates is the new trend right now.
It's the new hot thing.
It is the new hot thing.
It's the new hot thing.
Yeah.
Because it's these conglomerate of gyms now. Or even, what do you call them? The condos are being built.
Yeah.
The condos have gyms in them.
Right.
And now people are going, and like, that's the thing that's funny, because me and a couple of my girlfriends who own yoga studios, what's going on is that people are doing this, or going to like Orange Theory or things like that. But, you know, you can't put lipstick on the pig. So you can go to the gyms and do yoga, but it's no spirituality. No,
it's not the same.
You how to live in your soul, how to live with your spirit.
Right.
So it's fun. I mean,
and it's a get in, get out situation to where like they usually have 15 minutes in between. You got to get out. You don't get to like sit, chat with anybody, the instructor or anything. And then you kind of going out usually into a dark hallway with some like music or something that changed your whole energy vibe. And you're like, no, I think that like the space that you have here is so wonderful and calming, especially in New York City, because it's like after yoga class, it's not always easy to just walk out into the street and see, you know, someone who might upset you, right? And you just had this wonderful class. You feel calm. You walk out and someone says something absurd to you, or cat calls you in some ridiculous way. So it's like, it's nice that you have this space where you have hallways, you have couches, you have like acupuncture and all these other treatments and community vibes that people can just like sit with their good energy before, you know.
Or after.
Yeah. And and it's what you get in a yoga space that you don't get in a chain gym or
Exactly.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. Well, I hope people still find value in yoga. There will be a Pilates hump and then a down. Everything has trends. The trends just keep going.
You get lemons, you make lemonade.
Right.
So the retreat that I'm going to in Baja, one of my girlfriends, she's a Pilates teacher.
Nice.
So I'm about to get certified through her.
Nice.
Get lessons. And I can teach a mat class here.
Nice.
Because, you know, they always say Pilates is the bastard child of yoga anyway. So it's the same muscle movement.
Yeah.
And it's a sequence. So I got it. So I'll be teaching Pilates here in February.
Nice. That's wonderful news. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. More to offer the community space.
Yeah. More. more. That's what I'm trying to do.
Now you just got the yoga energy behind the Pilates.
Voila.
Right? You combining the two. I love it. Okay, so a couple other final questions for you, if that's okay. Are there any books you're interested in or people that you're kind of interested in the moment, that whether it's for movement or for Jyll or for the studio or just for fun?
You know, the book that always tends to get me, that I love to read, is the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
That, and like, I'm going to say another book that's really, because I'm not. I have been reading the Bible.
Wow. Okay.
And, because I wasn't raised in the church, but it's something which I said earlier, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. And it's these lessons.
Yes.
That keep popping up. And it's just like, things are happening for a reason. Like, even, and I hate to say this, I'm going to pray for them, like, what's going on in LA?
Right.
Fire, and my daughter's best friend's family lost their house.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
And why are these things happening? And and I can't even tell you things in the Bible, but I'm just trying to get to know it. I mean, to be real, I'm not a big reader. I'm not. Like, one of the books that was really profound that changed my life was The Celestine Prophecy. And that comes in a series of 3 books. That book was like, I was like, oh my God. But I like books with stories of things that have happened that I can relate to. Right. It might not have happened to me, but I can relate to what has happened. And it's just a lot of times in these stories in the Bible and Celestine Prophecy in the Bhagavad Gita, like, even it's people who are in these things and these pivotal moments, and how do they act, and what kind of decisions do you make, and just those the type of things I like. Those are the type of things. Yeah, all those three books have about the same storyline. So yeah, it's getting in situations, and maybe you might not have made the best decisions sometimes, but there's lessons in those things, and then you can pivot, right, and still succeed. I think in all 3.
Yeah. I'm familiar with the Bible. I was raised Roman Catholic. So yes, I don't go to church regularly now, just holidays with family, but I do see the importance of having morals and having a fixed idea on like some standards, especially nowadays. I feel like religion is lost, and I don't think all religion is bad. Personally, right now, my religion is going outside in nature and being grateful for everything that's out there.
It's beyond the Bible.
Yeah.
It's beyond, it's again, it's not the 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
But definitely, I'm going to go back, use your word you use, morals. It's how you treat your neighbor. But again, circling back to what I said, it's how you treat yourself. Right. Can you look yourself in the mirror and, hey, you, hi, you, like, it's, we've lost something in the world, and I can't tell you when it started. I mean, I can kind of tell you. I always say it was being from Ohio, I always said it was the crack epidemic that just changed the world. But anyway, I have hope. Me too. A lot of people around me are hopeless. And I try to find joy in something every day. Today, you're my joy.
You're my joy too.
Today, you're my joy. I try to find something, even in the crappiest and the shittiest moments, beyond waking up in the morning and opening my eyes. There is something that's going to make my day, and that's vice versa. Yeah. I try to make a difference in somebody's life every day.
Yeah, I'm sure you make a difference in so many people's lives.
Yeah, I try.
I love that. Yeah, so we'll kind of conclude on that note of, what if you had one message for all the listeners that you would like to share?
Message. Heart forward, ass back.
I saw that. And
heart forward. So what goes on, just how it came to be, heart forward. Heart forward is heart forward. Like, you're moving forward with your heart. And you have to realize what you've gone on in the past propels you to the future, to the forward. So also what's on your back body is your kidneys. You got all these muscles back there, all of these organs back there. And like, if your spine is not straight and strong, don't try to straighten your back now, then the front part of your body will fall apart. Right. So it has to be ass back, heart forward. So that's what it is. That's my thing. Guide with your heart. It'll never fail you.
I love that. I love that. And that, for the listeners, that is on the door of your studio. It's a wonderful mantra.
Yes. Yeah. Don't forget the floss and hydrate. That's no.
Yes. And so we will include all of your links in the bio. Do you want to plug some of your links in right now?
It's under Urban Asanas,
Okay.
urbanasanas.com, Urban Asanas Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of those things. It's Urban Asanas. You know, you can just Google it. If you can't remember the name of the studio, you can Google, I'm the only Black-owned yoga studio in Crown Heights. So you can Google Black-owned yoga studio in Brooklyn. Urban Asanas will be one of the first ones.
Nice. And you're the only Black-owned yoga studio in Crown Heights for the past 15 years, right?
Yes, in the past 15 years. But see, what people tend to do is it'll be white-owned and they'll put a Black person as manager and say they're the owner. That's cheating. No, I am Black-owned through and through since day one. It's me. It's me. It's all me and nothing but me.
Wonderful.
So help me God.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for having this space.
Thank you for finding me. I enjoyed this thoroughly, and everybody, don't let anybody steal your joy.
Yes. And also, if you are a listener, there are shirts, there are water bottles, they have acupuncture here, they have healing centers, Reiki, infrared sauna at this spot. So come check it out in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, New York. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks for the conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Have a nice day.